help me welcome an amazing and talented individual, someone I have the privilege of calling a friend, Miss Andy.
Did you know that not every cancer patient loses their hair? Do you know that not even every chemo patient actually loses their hair? I did. I had long, beautiful, blonde, straight hair. And I loved it. I held it, I trimmed it, I tinted it, straightened it, let it loose, tied it up, everything. I had a cupboard absolutely full of bows and mousses and gels and sprays and absolutely the whole works. Seriously, how much money do we spend on our hair? Mick didn't like it in his face at night. Actually, he didn't like it in the shower drain. But hey, it's who I was. Or so I thought. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And the poison that they were going to pump through my body meant that I was going to lose not just the hair on my head, but all the hair on my whole body. So in true bestie style, my best friend Sue travelled over 1,500 kilometres down from a little town in the northwest called Parabidoo for my pre-chemo haircut. And as you do when your bestie's in town and you don't get to see her very often, we made a huge, although rather emotional day of it. Now, I know you're probably thinking, it's a given. Her and a bestie are going to have a pretty emotional day anyway. But this horrible illness actually affects everybody around you. Not just me, not just my family and friends, but my young hairdresser was absolutely terrified of cutting all of that hair off in one go. Even with Sue saying, yep, nah, cut it shorter, nah, shorter, she's going to lose it anyway. Sure, you're probably thinking, okay, she's sounding pretty harsh for a best friend. But sometimes you actually need someone that brutally honest. When you're going through something so life-changing, you need somebody by your side who's not going to sugarcoat it. So why cut it off anyway if it's all going to fall out? While losing your hair can be really traumatic, can you imagine losing great big chunks of it when you've got so much there to start with? Also, and I didn't realise this, did you know that it actually falls out in chunks? It doesn't fall out nice and evenly, it doesn't fall out nice and gracefully. Because there's nothing really graceful about cancer anyway. It falls out in these big random chunks and it leaves these really odd bald patches. So after having my haircut, we went hat and scarf shopping. Back then, I'm not sure if they still do it now, but the government gave you a voucher to go and buy a wig. But wigs are really hot and they're really itchy. And as your hair falls out, it actually hurts. I bet you didn't know your hair can hurt. Well, it's not actually your hair that's hurting. The first chemo that I had made sure that my hair was well and truly dead. It was like white. Seriously, the worst bad hair day ever. But my scalp hurt. I could feel every single hair follicle move on my head. So I woke up one day, hair on my pillow, scalp too sore to touch. And I said to Mick, today's the day, bring out the shaver. By then Sue had actually gone back home, but she was not going to miss out on this momentous occasion. So Mick and I set up Skype, and For those of you who aren't aware, that's what we used pre-COVID, before Zoom. And she gathered the whole family around the computer all the way up in Paraburdoo, all ready to support the great big show. So footy in the background, beer at the ready, shaver in hand, Mick hammed it up in true Mick style. You remember the French chef on the Muppets? Yeah, that's what Mick was doing. I couldn't be depressed at that situation because I was laughing way too hard at the whole situation. And even though I should have been able to see what was going on the computer screen, I had my glasses off, so I was totally at Mick's mercy. And trust me, anyone who knows Mick, he was enjoying it way too much. There is a video on the Therapy on Wheels YouTube if you want to watch the whole scenario, and trust me, you will have tears running down your face, not from sadness. It was that funny, really. But it was also confronting. When I put my glasses back on, seeing those bald patches suddenly became very, very real. Within a couple of weeks, I was bald, and I mean I was shiny bald. And not just on my head. Have a really good think about where you've got hair on your body, other than on your head, for those of you who have got hair on your head. And you're going to be able to name a few of the really obvious ones pretty easily. Okay, so under your arms and your legs. I didn't miss that. I did not miss the shaving or the waxing. And when you're going through chemo, the first thing they say, don't shave and don't wax, because your skin is really, really sensitive and you are really prone to an infection if you cut yourself. So speaking of waxing, ladies who like your Brazilian, yeah, that one too. Although I didn't actually notice it falling out. Eyebrows and eyelashes, yeah. Okay, I had to point this actually out to people that I'd lost them, because naturally mine are a white blonde, so they're not really that obvious to see. But you don't realise how much of a job that they do until they're gone. Not only was everything super, super bright, but every single little bit of dust that was in the air fell into my eyes. So not only was I wearing sunglasses all the time because everything was bright, but my eyes were also really dry and really itchy constantly. Alright, inside your nose. You older fellas probably already know about this and you've probably already trimmed yours, but try losing all the hair inside your nose. And while my nose just kept running, I had a permanent case of the sniffles. Yeah, okay, that in itself probably is a little bit dodgy. It also changes the way that you smell things. So it's something that normally smells really nice or really subtle was suddenly totally overpowering and seriously stomach churning. So now, as a volunteer driver for Breast Cancer WA, I make sure that I wear unscented deodorant. I only wash the inside of the car down with warm soapy water, and I certainly do not have a smelly tree. Alright, so we've covered the obvious ones. There's also inside your throat. So it leaves you dry and raspy. Okay, I didn't realise you had hairs inside your throat, but apparently you do. If any of you here are smokers, you've already burned yours off. That is one of the reasons why you cough. Because there's nothing actually protecting the lining inside your throat. Alright, inside your ears. Yes, again, you old blokes probably already aware of this hairy spot. Without hair inside your ears, it changes the way that you hear things. So some things you're really, really hypersensitive to, and other things you're actually totally deaf to. Seriously, I could go on, but some of these other spots do start to get a little bit personal. So Yeah, and they were spots that I didn't realise there was hair there until it wasn't there during the job that it normally does. So while not every cancer patient loses their hair, it is the very first thing that you start thinking about when you get diagnosed, and especially when you start treatment. Will I lose my hair? When will I lose my hair? Nobody wants to shout out to the world, hey, guess what, I've got cancer. But even when you've got a hat on, it's still pretty obvious. I remember visiting the shopping centre on one of my really good days, and kids were staring at me. One elderly lady told her friend, within earshot of me, how bright I was. And some people actually took a wider berth as they walked past me. I was contagious or something. Alright, maybe I was being a little bit oversensitive. People can't help the way that they react. I'm sure they thought they were being well meaning. The hardest part was the look on my dad's face. It actually crushed me inside. So much so that every time I saw him, I made sure I was wearing a hat or a scarf. And the sad look was still there, but somehow it wasn't quite as bad if he couldn't see the ball. So when I told my dad what I was actually going to be doing this weekend, how I was going to be shaving my head for this fundraiser, you want to know what he said? Why would you do that if you don't have to? You're not sick anymore. It's just hair, right? It'll grow back. I never did get those blonde locks back. It came back curly, very grey. You see, chemo also messes with your hormones, and it turns you into an old person before your time. So by the age of 40, I had grey hair, dry skin, arthritis, a whole bunch of other stuff that I won't go into. So why have I chosen to talk to you today about losing my hair instead of sharing my actual cancer journey with you? Well, because while many of us actually joke and say, it's only hair, that dramatic change in your appearance can actually be the final straw in your sense of self. When the rest of your mind and the rest of your body is going through so much turmoil, that ultimate outward sign shows everyone that all is not well. So today I would like to say that I learned to embrace my baldness, but I didn't really. Else I wouldn't have worn my fake fringe and my little hat. And I wouldn't have spent hours learning how to tie a scarf so that it actually stayed on a bald shiny head. And I wouldn't have taken those looks and those comments at the shopping centre quite so personally. And while my hair hasn't quite grown back exactly the same, I have grown in a lot of ways that I didn't think was possible. And I learned to be okay with that chick in the mirror. Because while she's changed, and she keeps changing on the outside, she's also learned to really appreciate every single moment of life. Thank you.
Hey, I want you to itch for the rest of the day like I
Yep. And Mick reckons
Where do we want to start? 592. So we do your hairstyle?
yeah, that's what we like. Okay, glasses are off. This is happening.
I don't know how to shape hair.
I want to turn it on first.
Yeah, I'll get there.
You guys, nothing.
Oh, look at that.
Maybe a skullet.
Oh, it feels cooler already.
The new therapy on wheels aerodynamics package.
I'll have to refit my helmet. It'll be loose.
Make sure we're not getting any hair in the sausage.
I hope not. Oh, you've got half of that shaved off.
Oh yeah,
I'll even it out for you.
I did cheat. I had an undercut.
Are you going to leave her with a mullet, Lucy?
Yeah, I'll leave a half mullet.
Every now and again, just
Like that.
and again.
Oh, Susan said she's proud of you.
Last time I cut someone's hair, I was trying to find.
Morris Mead, you've just lost the customer.
As long as you get all the long stuff before the battery dies.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, okay. Battery off and I'll show you. You have to walk around with a skullet. I might get rid of that then.
Get all the long stuff off first, then tidy.
Granddad's up straight at the end. Right and get it and tell them to come on.
Chocolate.
Maybe 1 year old.
I probably won't do it again. I think once is enough.
Twice.
Or twice. Once by choice.
Can we do cute little designs?
Again, Andy? Eddie.
Thinking of taking that up full time, Lucy?
Yeah. Good at it.
The mortgage broking hairdresser. She can talk to you about a really good home loan while she cuts your hair.
You convince you to buy a house.
Yeah. Is there actually anything left?
All right, Luke, I'll fix it up when we get home. Hey?
No,
I'm the one that's got to wake up
like
next to it every morning. Hey? We can now have an argument I can win. I've got more than she has.
Susan said now, Andy, you should do Lucy's.
Serve with the shaved head. It's great.
Oh my god. Leave it. Oh.
I think we are.
Looks great.
I think we're good. I think we are.
All right. I probably do want to have a look.
We're bald. haven't seen it before. I'm ready.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
no,
okay.
Wait, I missed a spot. Wait.
Good work.
When you finished? Okay.
Yep.
Beautiful.
All right.
All right.
Great reveal.
Big reveal.
Not the wrong way.
Hey.
Okay.
I still love ya. Hey.
Okay, then do mix.
Ready?
Ta-da!